What is up, you guys? My name is Curtis with GameLuster. Now today is a little bit of a different video because I usually do like a script, but today I'm actually just going to talk to you guys about how I feel about the new Saints Row game. Now, quick disclaimer, I do have fun with this game. I actually like a lot of aspects in this game, and I think where all this is coming from is if you guys most of you guys have probably seen the reviews that have come out about this game. Now, to me, a lot of reviewers have been very harsh on this new Saints Row game, and I don't really understand why. I feel like this game has had just a preconceived notion. When the first trailer came out, nobody really liked it, and I think everybody just wants to hype it up to be as bad as I mean, the fact that people are calling this game one of the worst games ever created is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, these are probably the same people that have said The Last of Us Part 2 is one of the worst games ever created. But the issue that I'm not liking with a lot of the reviewers is, like, you have a whole bunch of game reviewers that have a lot of followers. You have a whole bunch of game reviewers that have a lot of clout that just really drag this game through the mud, and it's just not really fair to the game and the developer because it's not as bad as they're saying. I'm not here to just sit here and like go off on like a whole bunch of like different outlets and things like that. I'm not trying to do that because I really don't want to put their names out there and try to just bash them. But video games is about opinion, and I think that's one of the biggest things that makes, you know, talking about video games very important. We all have, you know, a little bit of responsibility when we give our opinion, and you need to watch what you say when you give your opinion about a game that nobody else has played at that time yet. So, like I said, video games are very subjective, things like that. But I heard somebody literally say that they had to step back from gaming for a week and cleanse themselves of the experience. Like actually cleanse themselves of the experience. I think that is just so harsh of an opinion on this game that you should actually kind of get a little bit of reputation taken away from you. I mean, that is just so harsh. So I'm gonna stop rambling on about that, and we're gonna get into some of the aspects of the game that I like, some of the aspects of the game that I don't like. But this is definitely a video about how Saints Row is not that bad of a game, and it might be worth your time. So let's talk about the graphics in the game. The game actually looks pretty good. Santo Elysium reminds me of like my hometown in California. The desert kind of has this, actually has like this Nevada feel, this Las Vegas, Nevada feel. There's actually just a lot of desert around the game. I didn't think it was that heavy in desert, but yeah, it definitely has that. There is a little bit of lighting issues with some of the cutscenes. That's probably a little bit of the gripe here and there, but overall, I'm playing the game on PlayStation 5. It doesn't look that bad. So with the graphics, I guess I can move over to the glitches that everybody keeps talking about. I haven't ran into any real massive glitches. Now, I did have a glitch that could have really messed up a mission for me, where one of the enemies stayed inside of a building, and I was like, okay, I need to take care of you. I need to kill this enemy if I'm going to continue with the mission. And I had to kind of throw dynamite into the building, and I actually killed him. So I kind of dodged the bullet on that one. But I'm dealing with a lot of like small glitches, like certain things just not popping up. Like I need to kind of turn around and then come back to a store so I can interact with the store. That's like small things like that. I haven't had too much pop in, maybe a little bit of maybe texture glitches here and there, very small, minute stuff, but not a lot. And like I said, everybody else is probably gonna have a different experience. This is just my opinion. Everybody else is probably witnessing all type of crazy stuff, falling through the ground and completely messing up the game. I did have like a save. I think I accidentally like didn't finish a mission or something, and the game just kind of froze a little bit. But these are like one-offs for me. I haven't had much issues when it comes to the glitches. So I think people are just and the funny thing is, look at games like Cyberpunk 2077 that are, you know, the PS4 version that was almost unplayable. This is a night and day contrast to what happened with Cyberpunk. This game is still well put together, and I haven't ran into too many glitches. But go ahead and get in the comments if you guys have ran into more glitches than I have, and what glitches have you guys ran into. Now let's talk about the story. Now the story does follow a typical come up for the Saints, but there is a big difference. These guys are not gangsters. They are people, they are actually hipsters. They're hipsters trying to pay rent. And I don't know, some of the characters I actually do like. The writing isn't as good as the first two games, and I like in the first two games that they were gangsters. They were actual gangsters. And it was a little bit of a subtle, serious tone in those games. This game doesn't really take a serious tone. It's just wacky and crazy most of the time. And it's very subjective of the person that you are, how you take it. I find myself chuckling at some of the jokes. I'm a person that it doesn't take a lot for me to really like a joke or laugh. So some of the jokes are pretty funny. But there isn't a serious tone in this story. But I don't play Saints Row for a serious tone. If I wanted to play a game that's open world with a serious tone, I'd play GTA. I'd play other games that I would think that would have a serious tone. But this game, I knew what I was getting myself into. I just thought the Saints were a little bit more gangster. That's what I thought. They were not people just trying to pay rent. So they were like, hey, let's just build a criminal empire. Like, no, but you get the wackiness, you get the craziness, and I kind of like the story for that. There is that subtle, like, they're not going all the way in with the jokes and not really taking risk because of the state of the world and everybody's really sensitive about things, which is fine to an extent to me, but the story isn't as bad as people that people try to lead on. Now let's talk about the open world. Now I could see a lot of people kind of going in on this because the open world is very bland. Santo Elysium is very bland. There's not really much going on to interact with the world. There is a bunch of side quests and like little missions you can go on that they have on, you know, all around the world, but the world itself doesn't necessarily feel very alive. And I think that's one of the biggest criticisms I have of this game. It's just not alive at all, but it's a sandbox that you can kind of just blow up and do a whole bunch of type of crazy stuff into it. Santo Elysium, what I do like about it is that it feels like this game or this open world has like two cities almost. Like I think on like the left side of the city there's like a casino area that feels very much like Las Vegas, and then you have, you know, the inner city where the downtown area is, and it kind of feels a little bit more like a Los Angeles maybe. I like that. I think a lot of, you know, open world city games don't do that, have like multiple, not downtown areas, but multiple like high rises and things like that. I really like that. But as I said, there's not really much interior. The world really isn't that big either. And I just think that's probably the more disappointing part of the game. I think the wingsuit does come into play, but the wingsuit feels like so much of an afterthought. Like the wingsuit just felt like, oh, let's throw the wingsuit in here and just have like certain things that they can interact with the wingsuit in the world. I really feel like they missed the boat with the wingsuit because it really could have been more. It could have been more, I guess, introduced more into the game, and they could have had way more things kind of going on with it. But this is a reboot. I think they're just trying to get their bearings before they move forward with a lot of the other things that the game should need. So if there's a Saints Row 2, I think they should really take the criticism from most of the outlets and from most of the YouTubers and just apply it to Saints Row 2 and just make the series a lot better from here. Let's talk about combat. Now, combat is hot and cold for me, of course. I think the gunplay is okay. I think, you know what? I think the whole combat is just meh. It's just okay. There's little upgrades you can do. There's little passive upgrades you get. The AI is as stupid as you can think about it. They are dumb as rocks. They just stand in front of you and they shoot. There's no tactical awareness at all, and that's all they do. They just shoot at you. But it's funny because a lot of the chaos and how there's actually really good car combat too. Before I continue, there's a lot of good I like the car combat. You can get on top of the roof, you can slam your car into another car, and then it could just go blowing up into a ball of fire, and you see bodies coming out of the car, and I think it's just reckless, and I really like that part of the game. But it's nuts. It's just a lot of, you know, of these factions coming at you, and you're just mowing them down. You can do little finishers on them, and it's just mindless fun. Like I said, I play this game because it's crazy and it's wacky and it makes fun of itself. That's the thing about Saints Row. It just makes fun of itself. It's like Saints Row is literally a parody of a parody. It's like it's a parody of GTA, which makes it a parody of a parody. But that's how I feel about it. Like I said, the combat is a hit and miss thing. It's just okay. it's not even a hit and miss thing. It's just okay. It could probably definitely be better, but you can learn a lot of moves, a lot of ways to make the combat a lot better and do more fun things with it. But I just really like some of the combat aspects. It's just very decent. Overall, what I really wanted to get with this video is that all of the reviewers, everything that has just been coming out about this game in the last week, I'm not saying they're not valid, but it's just a little too harsh. And I think people are painting the wrong picture of Saints Row, the reboot. And I think the game is actually okay. I think it's decent. I think it's good in some areas, and you can get a lot of fun from it. And if I had to rate it myself, I'd probably give it a 7. It's not as bad as people are saying, and I think that's the bottom line. It's not as bad, and I think when it comes to video game opinions, it's so subjective. Sometimes you need to just play games yourself and have your own reserved opinion. That's the biggest thing I can leave you guys with this video. And that is it for me, guys. Make sure you guys get in the comments and let me know what you think about Saints Row, the reboot, this brand new Saints Row game. Do you think it's not good? Do you think it is good? Do you think they should continue with it? Let me know in the comments. And make sure you guys subscribe to GameLuster. My name is Curtis with GameLuster. You can follow me at Cali from the Dojo. You can also check out our actual website at GameLuster.com. And I will check you guys later, okay? Peace.